Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I have finally filmed a tutorial and it is on this burgundy, pink, maroon, half cut crease kind of thing. I don't really have a name for it because I was freestyling when I did this, but it is super easy, and most of the products that I did use in this video are accessible at discount, so it should be a breeze for you to find the product. And if you guys would like to see how I achieve this look, then just keep watching. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is color correcting my eyes using the Eyelure Pro Concealer in Orange Color Corrector. As my eyeshadow base, I'm going to be going in with the Eyelure Pro Concealer in Creamy Beige. And this is going to act as my eyeshadow base, because I don't use primer on my eyelids, so be generous. To set that concealer, I'm going to be using the Benign Banana Powder. You can use any alternative of a translucent powder that you like. I will be putting an alternative in the description box below, which is the Yardley translucent powder. It's exactly the same and it is much cheaper. The palette I'm going to be using for my eyes today is from Beauty Treats. I bought it at discount for 99 Rand and it's really pigmented. It looks like this. It's called the Heart Love Eye Palette and it really is worth the money if you can't find any expensive palettes that are as pigmented as this. So I'm going to be going in with this brown shade over here. And I'm going to be using that as a transition shade with just a normal fluffy brush. And I'm going to start by putting that in my crease. So if you don't know how to locate your crease, the moment you take a brush and put it on your lid, wherever it dips, that's where your crease is. So just put the brown shade all over your crease. The next color I'm going to be using is this orange shade over here, and I'm going to be taking a bigger fluffy brush, and with that I'm going to still be going into my crease just to deepen the color. And just swing that all the way and drag it out towards your outer eyelid, like that. So using the same fluffy brush you used for the orangey shade, you're going to go back and take the brown shade that we first used, and I'm going to be going just below my crease just so you can balance it out and see the flow of colors. I got this brush at discount from Color Brushes and it was about 40–45 Rand. And you're just going to go just below your crease and make sure you blend it out. from the same palette, I'm going to be using the darkest brown, which is this one over here. And I'm going to be putting that on the corners, outer corners of my eye, using a flat brush. So I just want to pack on as much product as I can on the outer lids, just so that it creates a kind of smoky effect. Brush like this, so it's kind of like a flat brush, but it's a bit angled at the top. I'm going to be taking my Eyelure Pro Concealer in Creamy Beige, and I'm going to be cutting the crease. I'm not going to be cutting my crease the whole way. I'm just going to stop in the middle where the darkest brown meets the middle of my lid is where I'll stop cutting. To set that, I'm going to be going in with my translucent powder again on top of my concealer, just to make sure it sets. You can skip that step and go straight to the eyeshadow just to make it pop more, but it does tend to crease when it hasn't been set. So the next thing I'm going to be using is this palette from Eyelure. It is the Nudes palette. It's really affordable, and you can pretty much use any of the colors. As you can see, I've hit pan on most of them, but you can pretty much use any of the light colors. They're like champagnes, golds, all the shimmery colors for your lid. I'm going to be using this one right here, number 5, and I'm going to be using a flat brush to pack that all over my lid. Now going back into this Beauty Treats palette, I'm going to be taking that first brown that we used, which is this one right here, and I'm going to be kind of blending where I cut my crease and this brown right here in between the shimmer, just so it blends better and comes together. Kind of drag it into the shimmer of where you cut your crease, so it doesn't look like a harsh line. is your eyeshadow done. Now I'm going to be taking a liquid liner and just aligning my eyes. You don't have to do this, you can just skip this part and go straight to lashes. Or if you want to be extra, you can wing it out. After having drawn the line from the corner of your eye to where it meets, so however long you want your wing to be, is where you draw the line. So you start there, and then you're going to link the top of that line to the middle of your lid. So go here, and then just fill it in from the beginning to the middle where you've linked it. So if you would like to put on lashes, then that would be the next step that you do. I'm not going to put my lashes on camera because I suck at that. So I will be right back with my lashes on, and then we can start with the rest of my face. Okay, now that we are done with our eyes, I'm going to be moving on to my face, and the first thing I'm going to be doing is just getting a wet wipe, wiping off all the excess eyeshadow that may have dropped onto your face. And then I'm going to be priming my face using the Catrice Prep and Prime. My camera's having the hardest time focusing today, so I'm not too sure what is going on. But I will link it down below, and I'm just going to be putting a bit of this on my face and just rubbing it in. I really hate it when people like put primer on like it's lotion. It's not lotion. I don't use foundation. So at this stage you can essentially just use whatever foundation that you do use. Can you guys see the sun setting? It's literally moving while I'm sitting here. Anyway, so foundation, I use concealer as my foundation. So I'm going to be using the Eyelure Pro Conceal once again in Fawn. And that is what I use as my foundation. And I'm just going to be applying that all over my face, the same way you would with foundation. I'm going to be going in with my Eyelure Pro Concealer once again in Creamy Beige, and I'm just going to be highlighting my face. Because I use the concealer as my foundation, I won't be using as much of the concealer to highlight my face. So I'm going to be starting by just dotting on my tip of my nose and just a small line at the top, because I don't really contour my nose. I have a pretty small nose, so if I did contour it, it would disappear. And then I'm just going to draw a triangle here, and then onto my chin. I don't really contour my forehead because my forehead is smaller than small, so that would also just take away from me having a face. And then what I like to do with my concealer is that I don't blend it right immediately. So I don't blend it right away. I just wait for it to get a little bit tacky before I start blending it, because then it creates a more fuller coverage. So let's wait. Right, so taking that sponge once again, I'm going to be blending that in. Set my concealer, I'm going to be going back with my translucent powder, and I'm going to be putting that right where I've put my concealer, but I'm going to be putting it on my forehead as well, because I tend to sweat there, so I just kind of want to block that out. all of that powder, I'm going to be taking this palette once again, and I'm going to be taking that orange shade that I used the first time, and I'm going to be putting that just on my lower lash line, just to open them up a bit before I apply mascara. So after I've used that orange on my lower lash line, I'm going to be going in with the dark brown that I used at the corner of my eyes. So that's the darkest brown here, which is the bottom one. And I'm going to be applying that just below the orange. Don't drag it too far down because it'll look like you've been crying. So as you guys can see, I didn't contour my cheekbones with a cream. I'm going to be doing that with a powder just because I prefer it that way. It looks cleaner to me. So for that, I'm going to be using this palette that I got from Beauty Treats. It looks like this, and it is the bronzer palette. Most of it is already finished, but oops, I'm going to be using this shade right here, so the second one. This does come in different shades, so the browns get darker or lighter. I will link which one this one I've used is, but I'm going to be using the second shade as my powder. So you can use whatever compact powder that you have just to set your translucent powder so you don't get flashback. And I'm going to make sure I'm dabbing it into my skin so it stays there. The next thing I'm going to be doing is contouring, and for that I use this powder right here. This powder has saved my life, guys. It is from Eyelure. I got this powder for 20 Rand. I know. So I got this for 20 Rand at the clearance cubicle at Discount. I'm sure they have it in the Eyelure aisle, but I got it for 20 Rand. I'm sure it's not that expensive, so get yourself one. It is in the shade Mahogany, and it works really well. The only problem with that is that if you mess up, it's very difficult to blend because it's so pigmented. So just use a little bit and build it up. So using this angled brush that I got from Discount, it doesn't have a brand. Well, I mean it does, but I don't know what the brand is. I'm just going to be using that to contour my face. So your cheekbone, everything, your face always guides you. So there is kind of, I have a birthmark luckily where my cheekbone is. But if you just fish face your face, you'll kind of see the guideline as to where to follow. And then going back into that Beauty Treats palette that I've just shown you, I'm going to be taking this darkest brown bronze kind of color. I wouldn't use this because it's got a more grey undertone, so this brown right here is perfect. And I'm going to be going over that. I'm going to make this my blush just because I don't like blush. So this step would be where you would use blush instead of another bronzer. But just above that, I'm going to be putting this shade. And then I'm just going to be putting setting spray on my face, and then we will highlight after that. Okay, so to highlight, I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit palette. This isn't very easily accessible. You can get it online, but it is quite pricey. So the LA Girl Strobe creams, strobe powders, I'm not too sure what they're called, but they're a really good alternative and they're quite affordable. I'm going to be using this shade right here. It's called Amber Gold, and I'm going to be using that for my brow bone and my inner corners. And then for my nose, I'm going to be using this gold one here. MAC Gold Deposit is the exact same as this one, so if you can get your hands on that, then do so. And then for my nose, I'm only going to be highlighting the tip of my nose and just a little bit of the bridge and not the whole nose. So for my lips, I'm going to be using this lip liner from MAC. It is in the shade Plum, and I'm going to be lining my lips. And then for lipstick, I'm going to be using this Eyelure Matte Pigment Finish, and these are amazing, guys. They're really good. They're affordable. I think they're about 70 Rand, and this is in the shade Secret, and they are liquid lipsticks, but they dry matte.